Alright, this is going to be an account review. I believe this is a little over 4 years. Started playing, I think it was September 2019. So, probably right about the time they were finishing up, I think, their 1 year anniversary. Maybe a couple months after that. But either way, just going to go through my account and some of the stuff I've finished and some of the stuff I still have left to do. Let's see. Got pretty close to collecting all heroes, missing the new one. Judge Kise, Dark Corvus, probably the most surprising. I just I should have bought him in the last rotation shop, Galaxy shop, but I think I was holding out for something else and then wound up getting it anyway. But Closer, another one that I want. Infinite Horizon Akates and Furious. Not really interested in them. I kind of wish I got Dragon King Sharoon, but I don't think I'm going to use my pity. Kind of low on mystics these days, but not too bad. Most heroes collected. Just got says from my my selector this year. So okay, what else? Now let's go to reputation. Done most Dagger Sakar. I think. What do I got left? Probably should go do those. That might be fun to go try. Honestly, I forgot I had those things. I thought it was all done. Abyss, Conquered. I really wish they'd put more Abyss content out. Not just for the rewards, but because it's fun when it's not complete RNG fest. It's fun to try and use your heroes to get through those challenges, but I feel like they're not going that direction anymore. We'll see. What else? I don't know. Pet house. No one really cares about pets. Supporters. Or not supporters. Let's see. Respectable teams, I guess. I'll probably think of something else, but for now, I'm just going to go through the heroes and maybe give some reason why I geared them the way I do. Benimaru never really got the chance to shine. He was always outshone by his artifact. I guess he tried to be the answer to Gala Lilias, and still sometimes I will pick him in a guild war, but probably should use his gear somewhere else if I had to be honest. Edward, just de-geared him a little to try and gear Lifesteal Says, which I ultimately wound up not going that route anyway, so I probably need to put some of his pieces back on, but this isn't too far. I think he just was in the 22,500 range on health and a little less crit chance, which worked out better with the his artifact. I think it was like 89.6 or something. So less wasted stats. I used to use this guy all the time, but he just seems like his time has come and gone as well. Jacko de-geared her a little. Again, it was great to cleave with her at the time, but I'm not much of a cleaver. She's really, I guess, just supporting my red red world boss team. She is missing her Sacred Sight because I have them all in use, but loved a Ravi. I plus 15'd her back in the day when she was, a good answer to Landy, and Landy was in the meta. I still like her a lot, but she just, still use her for not Rift, Ancient Inheritance, but not really much else to use her with. That's why she's missing her artifact. A-Raz, still kind of wish he was in the meta, but oh yeah, I'm supposed to be, sorry, showing gears. I'll get used to this by the time I get to the end of this list, I'm sure. But yes, A-Raz, wish he was still in the meta. He was a fun knight, but seems like after SCROL came out, he's just nowhere to be seen. Still have him geared in case I need him, but hasn't come up too much. Charlotte, love her. Again, built her when she was a good answer to Greenlandy, but just her gear's been slowly getting worse over time, and I don't really find much reason to keep her built. I used to have her on, I'm blanking on the name, the extra hit chance and extra damage artifact. Symbol of Unity, of course. Ilynav, used her when she got her buff. I just never really got into this hero. Love her design, love her skill set, animations, but just haven't found especially with all the other injury units out there, there's just better options. I probably should unfavorite her because she never sees use. Lilias, I definitely could build this one better, but she was my answer to Lua. Still a great hero. I need more HP on her and probably more speed, but again, she doesn't get drafted too often. I have other answers to Lua, and most of the time I'm honestly pre-banning Lua. But she'll probably be used for something else that comes out in the future. Winter, loved her when she first came out. Loved using her against Destina comps. Used to have her on the Celine artifact, but honestly, I don't take her into RTA anymore, and I just found having a shield to stay in stealth was more useful than cutting, AI comps. Kayron, started building him when he got his buffs. I know I have some friends in the guild that have crazy Kayrons built. I think I just need to. He just can't be taken into any debuff comps. But honestly, I use different anti-cleave comps, or different anti-cleave units. Beehoo was my answer to Landy defenses for a long time. I think he's a good character, I think he needs to be built bulky and probably faster than this. I think this effectiveness is about right. It probably could be a little higher, but I wouldn't go much lower than this. I don't know. I don't use him often, but I like his kit. I like the whole buffing burns and burn damage penetrating. It's a shame that he's not used more often, but I get why he's not. Eligos, tried to use him. I'm, again, not much of a speed demon. This is probably 20 speed slower, maybe 15 slower than what he should be, and I think 50-50 crit is probably not good to have on him. I think he just needs a buff, and then he'd probably be used a lot more. I don't understand why he gets perception after his skills are all used. At some point he's going to probably get that change to before, and then I just will try to speed him up. But anyway, don't use them that much. Nahkwol, great answer to Landy and Euphine drafts. Used her a lot. Slowed her down to have some other speed gear on other units. I need to pick whether or not to put all my best speed gear on Lua or Nahkwol, because I think they're all about 10-15 speed slower than they should be. But I want to keep them at least usable, but they're probably not competitive speed-wise. Summertime Seaseria, obviously I don't use her anymore. I put her artifact on ML Flan and never looked back. I'm not much of a cleaver, so using her's already not my style. Kawerik, hand guy, red hand guy. I like him. He needs to be a lot faster than this if I was to take him into high level RTA. Since I haven't said it already, I don't play high level RTA. I usually get around the top 3,000 is usually where I finish seasons out. So I think that's well away from the Emperor, which is top 1,000. But I usually, I think, have 111 or 110, 120 games of RTA at the end of a season. I think if I just played more games, I could get close. Not saying I could get Emperor, but I definitely have the gear to. It would just be a matter of playing more games and whether or not I could draft well, which I don't think I'm a great drafter either. I think I'm a decent drafter. Milim, I much prefer bulky Milim, and this is not that bulky. She probably needs 1,000 more HP, but I think Imsu kind of converted me. I could never really outspeed unless I was severely gear gapping players, which doesn't happen that often. And anytime anyone went for her and found out that she's actually not a glass cannon, it's great to see the outcome of those, because everyone, when I was using her heavily, no one really expected the bulky Milim, so I'm definitely an advocate of this style rather than the speedy one. Politis, the first unit that I have built 2 of. This one is my DPS Politis. use her in raids, use her in PvP. Politis is just that good of a unit. I think everyone should probably have a Degen and a DPS one. And then here's the Degen one. A little low on ER, but definitely enough effectiveness to really cause havoc in some cleave comps. Carrot, probably another one I should unfavorite, but she's Carrot, so I can't do that. Don't really use her other than I think a Hell Raid boss. Yep, this plus she's on crap gear, as you can tell. She needs to be faster, she needs to be bulkier, she needs to have more effectiveness. So yep. Roy Mustang, I really like this lifesteal. They just need to fix him. I really like Roy's design, with the exception of the blue, the water units making him lose his buff. I love the fact that plays into his character on the anime, but I feel like if he didn't have that, we'd see him a lot more use in RTA. Shuna, the girl I keep confusing the name of Sharoon with, but I have her built. Don't draft her that often, but when I do, she's outstanding, especially now that sleep is the answer to some dodge units, and especially now that we have a new dodge unit, I think she's good to have. Not the highest effectiveness, not the highest effectiveness, not the highest ER. Probably there's a theme you'll see about all my characters need to be about probably 10 speed faster, and that's just the limit of my account. I have a lot of characters geared well, decently, but I probably should, instead of doing that, just have meta units geared to the teeth, and it's just hard for me to do. I really like having access to the full toolbox, even if it means some of them aren't as sharp. Choux, I took off her snow crystal to try and use on Holiday Euphine, and I only have one on my account, so I would prefer to have her on Snow Crystal, but for now I'm trying that out on Holiday Euphine as an anti-cleave option. I think this is a good Choux. In the right draft, she can take out the entire team. Lethe, another character I really like. Probably needs a little more HP, but yep, I actually use her quite a bit. Rim. One of my Guild War defenses has her in it. She used to be my favorite when she came out. Like, if I had getting drafted into a corner in RTA, I would just pick her and maybe Rylet and just let the RNG Fiesta go off. She's got some counters now, but she's still one of my favorite bruiser units. I used to have a plus 30 on her, but I moved that to ML Bologna. ae-KARINA. Really like this character. I used to have her on a plus 30 Rocket Punch. Phyllis, as probably just about everyone had Phyllis steal their rocket punches. They really need to come out with another rerun so I can get at least a plus 15 rocket punch back on her. This is okay, but you know, she needs rocket punch to be full power, and I don't know. I probably should move it back, but Phyllis was such a good unit in the last meta that it's hard to pull it off her. Krau, don't really use Krau anymore. If there's ever a spot where I can use Krau, I usually pick Yulha. And ML Shu and Death Dealer Ray just make that a little harder to do. So you know what? Another unit I probably need to unfavorite. Summer Break Charlotte, another character whose design or kit I really like. I used she's my unit that I used to pretty much clear automation tower on auto. And for a while I was using her as an answer to S10A and RTA, but she's just a liability in too many scenarios. Elvira, another character that is somewhat new. I like having an answer to all the rage, the warrior. Why am I blanking on the name? On the fighting spirit. Yes, I'm smart. And it's nice to have an answer to that, but and love her design. Her kit is interesting and fun. I think her S3 is very significant now. I maxed it out. She sets up. She marks the unit to be killed pretty well now. So yeah, I might finish putting the last 2 upgrades in her S1 just because she's been so useful. Kise, kind of on and off on this character. She's a character I like to have built, but again, I don't even have her gear upgraded, and this is yeah, who would want to upgrade this piece of gear? She's usually having gear stolen from her from the more meta units, but who doesn't have a Kise build? Peira or Peira? Oh, I should know that. I used her a bit 2 seasons ago. Nice to have her built fast. This is not really RTA fast. But, you know, only so much speed gear to go around. Ran has most of my high-end speed gear. I think him and Acid. Yeah, I think this is my fastest piece. I mean, this is obviously where I could grow, but I want him to be 100% crit to possibly activate C. Pavel, because that's, I mean, you use C. Pavel with Ran. So if I ever get a speed neck crit chance, I mean, 12 shouldn't be that hard to beat. It's just I think the crit chance is what's limiting that. So if I ever get that, you know, a decent speed piece on this, I'd put him at 310, which is a much more respectable Ran speed. And his damage is kind of low. But you know, he is my Ran. Everyone should have a 300 plus ran built, in my opinion. Byblis, haven't used her much, especially not this season. I think she has potential. I need to get her better boots, obviously, but she's decently bulky. High effectiveness, should get all but the soul weavers. Yeah, she has yet to really prove her stripes or earn her stripes, but I think she will have a place at some point in the meta. Her biggest downfall, I think, is just you have to rely on people counterattacking, and when it's bad, it's not in your favor to get counterattacked. You're going to get counterattacked, and when you want someone to get counterattacked, it never happens. So, I think that's her biggest downfall. I think they probably should add the extra attack thing to her kit, because it wouldn't hurt her. It wouldn't make her OP, and would just give her a little more chance of activating. Lua, I used to have her around 289. I usually have this character banned. So I, at some point, realized that if I am banning her most of the time, I probably don't need to have my best speed gear on her. Because I just hate playing against her. And I think most people do, according to the stats. So, yep. Aria, I recently took some of her gear off trying to build a lifesteal says. She lost about 20 ER, 100 defense, and some crit. So I think she needs to have Bastion of Hope, the ER one, and I'm using that on my Sage Ball and Cezanne, which unfortunately I should have split. I shouldn't have full limit break it. I should have had a plus 27 and a plus 15 one, but I am an idiot, so I don't. Ida, I don't cleave often, but I like having Ida built for certain situations. She needs to be about 20 speed faster, but again, I have prioritized her speed damage gear to other. I mean, you need so much speed damage gear in this game, and that's some of the rarest. So I've taken it off because it's less crucial for her in most circumstances. But the units it went to, it's always crucial to have high damage and high speed on those. Fairytale Tenebria, my first Tenebria, I got her before I even had a S10A or a red Tenebria, but so I put a lot of Mola in her, but thinking I could somehow use her poison, which she doesn't even have anymore, for PvE, but I used to have her 270, and I just realized I can't have every possible speed opener geared, so she's never picked anymore. Ahmed, used to have her around 285, took some of her speed pieces off after I think Lulakar came out. I think Lulakar hit her the hardest, but for a long time I was picking her and Green Sid as my first openers, and just tried I actually had a lot of success just cleaving, or at least setting up a cleave with those two and my first pick slot. Oh, gasp. You're missing your book. A Momo, user in Hell Raid, and she's a decent anti-debuffer or cleanse option, but I really think we need a new master of cleansing, and we need it now. She just isn't it anymore. Diene built her, had her around 270 during the Priest RTA season, where they got the bonus speed. There's just so many anti-crit options anymore. I don't think she is the... I just don't think she's what she used to be. I used to have her around 150 effect res and 10 more speed, but I use her in Automation Tower. Just recently built Elena. Haven't used her much, but after her last buff, I thought this was the time to try and use her. And I've only used her twice, but she won me those games. That's when they're going heavy AoE damage. Probably needs a little more ER, but she's good. Emilia, another character that I used to use all the time. Don't really. She's about 20 speed, 30 speed slower than she should be, but I like having her high effectiveness or high effect resist, and she is another cleanser that I take from time to time. Alencia, injury Alencia. I like my injury Alencia. She used to be my answer for Ravi when Ravi was still around. I still like using her with DDR. Just makes the injury game a lot easier, and pretty much 1s1, and she almost does 25% of your injury, your max HP injury. She's not quite out of my toolbox yet. Arunka, I don't know. I built this on a lark. I saw that some people were using her as an answer to Landy, ML Landy when she first came out, and it is fun trying to do the whole cleave with her. I mean, it's not really cleave, but you take out a shielded unit, then try resets, and you do another one. I think I have the increased damage because mine wasn't quite killing. I know this is not really the one to have. It's usually the one that resets the cooldown, but usually when I bring her, there's only one unit I really want to take out. And if she does that, then she can die. She's done her job. Now that Huayang has been rebuffed, I don't know if she's going to become my new tank killer. Rimuru. Everyone needs to have a Rimuru built. He's actually good into a lot of things. I think I built him. I took away my good Draco plate. Not sure who I gave that to, but probably should put it back on him. I used to have him built just enough damage to, I think, kill a, shoot, what was I trying to kill? It was, I built him around the time that Command Model Leica was a terror, and this was the answer to Command Model Leica. I think I built him with enough damage to one-shot a Command Model. Yeah. This is a decent Rimuru. Euphine used to have her on a lot better equipment. Again, that's like a theme. I keep saying that, but I tried the whole Zeo, Yuffie, and Cleave thing, and it was fun. And that's why I kept some good gear on her for a while, but this is hardly good gear. She needs to be faster, and I think Sez is about to take her job. Or Spez, sorry, Spez. Zahak, I love my Zahak. I used to think I had a really great Zahak built, and then I saw people that were like around 280 speed. But I had full confidence that he can kill an Aiden, an Aiden, Savior Aiden that has SC Arrowell protecting her with using his S3 S2 combo. And if there was no mitigation, I wanted to know that he could kill a Savior Auden with no mit with just using the S3. And that has pretty much been 100%. Like if there's like a cleave and they take Auden and they have Politis, I wanted to make sure the S3 could kill Aiden without having to do the S2. And if there was a Arrowell on the team with Aiden, I wanted to make sure his S2, S3 could kill. And that was kind of the damage threshold for him. He has been a great unit. I just feel that he's probably a little too slow now. I think there's a lot of options that will outspeed him now. So I probably should take this off and give it to my Kayron now. Green Armin, great anti-cleave option. Probably one of my favorites, but again, I probably should use her more than I do. But she's built. So Senya, I recently swapped out, I think maybe not last season, 2 seasons ago, I swapped her from a attack set to a lifesteal set, and swapped her from the self-healing one to the greater attack one, so that she could be used in more circumstances without having to have someone give her the attack buff. And she went from like low ER to high ER, or medium ER. This is definitely not high, but I wish I could get her a little more ER, like 50. But this is enough, I think, to be an anti-cleave option. And of course, 50-50 chance. But she's still great. Love her kit, love her design, and sounds like we're going to see more of her this year. New skin and possibly new unit. Yulha, another one of my favorite knights. She is not built great because when I built her, she was just a Huayong answer, and she did that great. I probably should, if she ever comes back, I should re-gear her, but for now, this gear is good enough for how often I pick her. Only thing I'd change is probably a little more defense and a little more ER. Celine, this Celine I don't think I can take into RTA. But that said, if she ever is taken into a arena or guild wars, if she ever procs, she kills something. So that is what I wanted her to do, and I think 4,200 almost and 340 crit damage with armor pen set will pretty much do that. So need more storm sword artifacts, but I think everyone does. Oh, well, usually I have him on Wind Rider, a plus 21 Wind Rider. But he is currently, Spez is using that artifact. So what would that put him at? Extra 200 attack, so 30, a little over 3,300 attack, 268 damage. He's not slow. He's just not a speed contester. With a Soul Burn, I have very little trouble actually killing anything that isn't like a full-blown tank. I love my damage Sid. He's good people. But again, since since Lulakar came out, I haven't been picking him that much, but he is one of my favorite speed imprints. I need to hurry up and figure what I'm going to do with Spez so that I can put either the plus 24 Wind Rider on him or a plus 15 Wind Rider back on him, because that's obviously his best in slot. And don't judge me, I made a counter Midnight Gala Lilias. I had some. I can make a fast one with the Torrent set, but it would destroy a lot of my units. And then I had all this ER gear hanging around, so I decided to try out a counter build. And honestly, aside from the speed being way low, it's not too far off from the attack. I know some people are running like 4,300 attack, and if I ever get her triple S, she'll be around 3,900 attack and 310 crit damage. It's not unrespectable damage. It's just slow, which most people want her for an opener. But I have won a lot of games by having the slower counterattack one, and they can't debuff her, unless it's AOL or Lua, which I always ban. Now we have Nahkwol, and I think when Nahkwol came out, I stopped using her as much. But not every game has Nahkwol in it, and I think total this is 100 and almost 160. Nope, almost 150 ER. So, wish I'd gotten more of these. I probably would have tried to get it close to plus 30. But, sometimes you just don't get limited artifacts. Vildred, decent Vildred. Most people probably have them faster. This is a good damage one, and one short of a max speed imprint, so he does the job when you need a speed imprint. Used to be one of my favorite units. Used to be one of my first 5-star units. But I've let his gear deteriorate and just slowly. Yeah, I've never picked this guy in like the last 4 seasons. I know a lot of people have him built for that scenario where your guy has too many water units, but I don't even really want to pick him even in those scenarios. Command Model Leica, used to have her above 300 speed, and then people figured out how to deal with her, and I just decided to keep decent speed gear on her because she's still a great unit, and she got recently buffed, but I think, honestly, just having Rimuru around prevents her from being meta. Landy, love my Landy. Probably about 10 speed too slow, but she used to draft her all the time. Who doesn't love a good Landy? Pavel, I built him right around. I got him and I built him right around the time Stinking AOL came out, and that kind of killed a lot of Pavel's momentum. Even almost plus 15 to him, plus 14 to him. And then next day he became a lot less played. But and I used to have him around 265, I think, speed. But again, once he stopped being relevant to my drafts, I just kept stealing gear. I know some people have crazy speedy Pavels, but not this guy. Destina, again, another great RTA unit. Probably more my style. Probably need to have her faster so that she can be a kind of a aggro option. But only so much speed gear to go around. Probably would like to have her around 230. But it's decent bulk. 230 and a little more health would be great. But, who's got time for that? Ocean Lulakar, or Lulakar. Yep, everyone should have one built. Mine is a little squishy and a little slow, but she gets the job done in the right situation. Roanna, use her in a lot of my arena offenses, just because there was so many Abyssal Euthines and ML Landies at one time. She just became the best healer I could take into those situations, and everyone just throws on whatever gear on Roanna, and she does a great job despite usually having B or C tier gear on. Sharoon, used her a lot 2 seasons ago and a little last season. Just great hand guy counter. I don't know why I stopped using her. Maybe I just forgot about her, but or maybe she's not in the meta anymore. I'm not sure, but it's weird how this character went from being played nowhere to everyone playing her, and now she's back to being obscure. But I'm pretty sure she's going to come back at some point, so I'm not going to steal any gear from her just yet. I like the counter build, even though people swear the speed one's better. I just like having the idea of getting extra buffs and extra healing, and possibly resetting some skills. Drink of water. Conqueror Lilias, one of my most anticipated ML units. Before we knew anything even about her, I was just like, I have a ton of extra Liliases. I love her RGB equivalent. I knew I was gonna pull this unit pity if I had to, before her kit was even shown, and obviously now everyone knows C Lilias and her power. But I don't think I put my best speed gear on her, but she definitely had. Oh well, no, that's my fastest piece right there. So she does have, I think, some of my best speed gear on her, and I like having a 300 plus C Lilias. I'm just not sure about the artifact. The artifact is pretty good. It lets me, it puts me above like 160 effectiveness, which has honestly allowed me to, control some Soul Weavers that must have been cutting corners on their ER. But I do see some value in possibly slowing her down and giving her more defense, and maybe a proof of valor. I'm hoping that's I'm getting that name right. Proof of valor. Yep. So yeah, I don't know. I think probably at some point she is gonna get slowed down and go to Proof of Valor and higher defense, so I can use her in bruiser comps. But it's just nice having a 300 plus speed Sea Lilias. Lionheart Sermia, rebuilt her 2 seasons ago. She hurts, and until Elvira came out, there wasn't really much way to deal with her. But she's got well, she had my only golden rose for a long time. Now I think I have 4 after the last custom summons. But a little low on the defense. I'd like to have her around 2200, and I'd like to have her closer to 1500 health. But otherwise, I think this is a pretty good Lionheart Sermia. Maybe if I get that last imprint, I'll be able to move some gear around. But 100 crit, almost max crit damage, and above 2000 defense. It's not bad. Little Queen Charlotte. She needs some defense imprints, but otherwise, I think this is a decent one. She's just, not the best anti-dark unit anymore, but still one that I think has a place. Maybe she'll get a buff and become super meta again. All right, another Don't Judge Me build. After his first set of buffs, maybe his only set of buffs, I was like, oh, I'm going to build a DPS Tywin, and he'll be like a utility knight. And it kind of worked. Definitely surprises people when my Tywin starts putting out decent damage. I mean, he obviously traded a lot for speed and defense, but it's won me a few games. People thinking that, I think when I pick a low DPS team, but I have Tywin in there, and he starts, killing squishies to medium units. I probably should just rebuild him, but I don't know. I think this is kind of a fun secret tech, even if it doesn't work too often. Bellion, everyone has to have a Bellion. 9+30. Elbrus was stolen by Emma Landy. She used to have it. I honestly found that the counter build was working better for me than the injury build. Well, I say that. I hate going into the counter build Bellions more than I hate going into the injury Bellions, because then you know how to shut her down. You just attack into her. But the counters, I think, just have a higher chance of high rolling, and that's what you want from her when you pick her. Definitely should have more defense, but otherwise, it's a decent Bellion. Crimson Armin, I threw some gear on her last season when everyone was Abyssal Euphine Crimson Armin comboing. I definitely don't have a well-built Carmen. She should be way faster and probably have more effect resistance, but you see all these 85 pieces that I don't want to re-roll anything this low, so I just need to try to get some replacement pieces on these slots, and then I think she'd be okay. She was one of my first 4 stars. I probably should have had her plus 15 fully geared a long time ago. Last Rider Krau, one of my favorite knights, definitely top 3. Yep, I used this guy even before his buffs in certain situations, back when Archdemon Mercedes was a terror. I think he's well built all around. I really don't think I need to improve much on him. Maybe another 100 defense, maybe another 1000 health if I had real premium gear. but I like the effectiveness. I'm sorry, I like the effect resist that he's at. Yeah, I don't have much to say about wanting to upgrade this guy. He's pretty well built. Navy Captain Landy, everyone's got one built. I think she's still meta just from her anti-crit that she puts on initially. She's a great anti-cleave unit, and she always has a chance to high roll. I wish I had her about 15 speed faster, but otherwise I like my stats. She does good. Moving on. Scarowell. Wish I had 1,000 more HP and probably 100 more defense. But otherwise, I think this is a good Scarowell. And I mean, that's probably from if I just gave her higher gear score pieces, especially this this one. But what are you gonna do? Last piece, Kayron. I think I have her pretty well built. I see most people have her around 285 speed, and the only thing I wish I could change on this one is put the I think it's the Manica of something, Manica of Control. I'd like to have this on her, but of course it has to be, you know, plus 30, or you are rolling the dice. I guess it would be just a 3% chance to miss, but who wants to even have that extra 3% chance RNG? But if I had that, I could take some away from crit chance and move it to either more speed or more damage. But honestly, even with this, you know, level 3 artifact on her, she has no trouble killing Aidens and other units, especially since her she gets that HP scaling Neo sword. So that's the only thing I change about her is swap out for the Manica artifact and you know, either make her faster or more damage. Savior Aiden, probably my highest CP unit. I really use her as a kind of an anti-cleave pick, or, you know, when they pick Zeo first. I would like to try and build her on a Bruiser lifesteal build. I tried to do the same thing for Spez, who's coming up next, but it just seems like higher damage is better in more scenarios. Plus, I only have so many Shepherd of the Hollows, and I think that's what she would need if she goes lifesteal Bruiser. Oh, Spez. I really wanted to try to make him work on a lifesteal Bruiser build. I hope someone figures it out. Right now, it seems like everyone is doing this kind of build with either Wind Rider or Shepherd of the Hollow. So this is what I decided to leave him as for now. He's my newest ML 5-star. I got him with the ML selector, or headhunting. But I think if I got him, you know, triple S, I could come up with a decent Bruiser build. Like, I mean, this one kills tanky units with no stun, no defense break if he has attack buff, and can pretty much kill medium and squishies, obviously, with no attack buff. But I think this is what I had. Yeah, this one. I'm blanking. Maybe it was. That doesn't seem right. No, I guess that was. Yeah, I guess that was it. this is what I tried to use him on a lifesteal bruiser, and I think I was using the double-edged crescent, or the counter attack dodge artifact. I think I'd probably switch him to a plus 30 Shepherd of the Hollow. If I did try to use this worked fine. It would kill anything that was defense broken or stunned. It'd kill anything still, even I think without an attack buff. And if you have an attack buff, you can still kill mediums and squishies without any of those things. So, and he's faster and more survivable. So this is the kind of bulk I'd like to have him if I do play him bruiser, but it just doesn't seem like that's completely viable right now. I don't know. I may change him back to that at some point, because I really like lifesteal bruiser characters, and he seems like he has a good chance of being one. Spirit Eye Celine, another one of my favorite character designs, both style and kit. I used to have her on the green Celine's artifact, but there's just so many of those that you can have. And once I dropped her speed below 240, I wasn't going to cut anyone anyway. I wish I could get her more stats. At some point, I'll start getting imprints, and then she'll get to 100% crit. But she needs to be faster. Her damage, I think, is in a good place. So obviously, she was a good Ravi counter pick, and she has won me some games. But it's getting harder to pick her every time they make a new reset hero. Twisted Eidolon Kayron. I stole Gala's artifact from him to put on Elvira, but I couldn't say I actually ever picked this guy. He's just too stat hungry. Even just putting him barely above 200 effectiveness, effect resist with the artifact, he just did not have the survivability. I think with the artifact he was a little above 12,000 health, but he needs more. He needs a lot more to be survivable. Such a shame. This character looks so cool, but I like the idea, but the execution was bad. Astromancer Elena, she was my pick from the Moonlight 5-star summon. Always good to have a character that can turn off counterattacks, especially since so many of the meta heroes are. But I don't really use her too often, except in, I think, Arena. Commander Pavel, man, I used to cleave with him in Arena so much. Just cleave my way to victory with him, Ran, and Acid. I don't have the brain power to do a draft around him, or maybe the confidence to draft him in RTA. Wish I could, though, because he's obviously, you see him in the high level play all the time. He's a good character. Faithless Litica, I think she is about 10 speed too slow, but I wanted her to have some damage. I can't do the 1500 or 1700 like Athleticas. And this one's obviously not a high effectiveness, but yeah, I've had a on and off, again, love-hate relationship with Faithless Litica. I love her kit, but I never can make her work for me. Wanderer Silk, this is another one of my favorite speed imprints. I have her on Guiding Light so that she can immediately S2 if she needs to. But even just S3ing, she's fast enough to use her S3. I used to have her on the artifact that would push you up after a kill, but it's just too nice to have that immediate S2 dual attack if you need it on demand. Yeah, this artifact. Watcher Shuri. Everyone's got a Watcher Shuri built. This is mine. AOL. I have her on Spirit's Breath because I typically only use this unit for certain defenses, and I usually have this unit pre-banned. Most people do. Architect Leica. Probably could be faster, but her damage stats are good. Yep. Great into strays, Leica, last pick drafts. I really should have broken this artifact into two. Really wish they gave you the chance to do that. Even if it costs some Sky Stones or something. That probably hurt my account the most, not being able to have 3 Proof of Valors and 2 Bastion of Hopes built. But this is one of my go-to cleave options. He's bulky enough to survive, got enough effect resist to not be debuffed by all but the most determined, and enough effectiveness to actually land his stuff. So I have a good Sage Ball, I think. He probably could be a little faster, but again, that's the theme of my account. Solitaria, I go with this artifact over the Abyssal Crown. Everyone knows and loves Solitaria. I probably should have her 10 speed faster. And I do sound like a broken record now. Sylvan Sage Vivian. I used to have her on Chatty's artifact. I think I joined right as that side story that had the Chatty artifact came out, and I didn't have enough. I was overwhelmed by everything. I didn't have enough knowledge to get the 5-star artifact at the time, and at the time it wasn't good. But I would have. I like having Chatty on her, but at the same time, I understand that just having high damage on Vivian's really good also, and this allows me to kind of get that extra high damage, which she's pretty high damage, 4,500, over 300 crit damage after the artifact. I'd like to have her a little above 200 speed, but again, 10 speed. It's across the board. Most of my units are about 10 speed too slow. But, I love this character. The kit, bruiser, battle mage type of thing, very fun. DJB, used to use this character a ton when Wolf Girl was around and it first came out with her large shield. I like the Eternus artifact on him. He's a little slow. I never got the 270, 280 DJBs. Just trade off too much ER. I can't, and then he dies instantly after he uses his S3. So if he was more meta, I would try to rebuild him. But for how much I use him, he is good. Maid Chloe, another relatively new ML5. I think I got her in the last 6-7 months maybe. Obviously need more imprints, and need more ER, but I finally got her. I got the once number 1 Soul Weaver. Now I just use her into teams that need a little more ER. I actually legit used her with my ER counter Gala Lilias, and that extra from Shamadra staff and her imprint were really all that Gala needed in certain comps to resist everything. Moon Bunny Dominial. about 10 speed too slow, but otherwise I like my stats on her. She's got enough ER, I think, to resist the Sea Lilias provoke. And yep, good unit to have built. Ruel, I think she's on one of my guild defense teams. I think this artifact used to be plus 24, but that went to the Rift boss. But I think this artifact on her has won me a lot of games in Guild War defense because it pushes up my, I think, Rylet and Ravi. But I probably need to take that team off and put something more meta in. But it keeps winning me stuff, so I have yet to do it. But Ruel, really wish she was more meta. Or maybe I don't. Who wants to look at these giant hands all the time? Ravi, oh, Ravi, we hardly knew ye. I'm really considering taking this off her and putting it on Sea Lilias. Or maybe even ML Roana. Just so hard. So hard to draft. Such a liability now with all these injury units out. She's not the anchor she used to be. Recently rebuilt a Fat Cat for the Sez changes. Because, I mean, this guy is meant to be paired with Sez, obviously. He's got the everything Sez needs. The extra dodge, the stun, the defense break, and then this is my first unit that has a protection set. I'm just notoriously bad at rolling protection sets, so I think this is my only one. If I ever get Dark Corvus, this is going to be his Durandal. I have plenty of Durandals. Design her a little bit. I just want her to do a lot of damage and be very tanky, which she's a one and done hero as far as I'm concerned. Probably needs about 100 more defense and about 20 more speed, but she usually works, or she usually is a force band, so I don't really feel the need to have her. And what is it? Crit, yeah. If I ever get an imprint for her, that'll get her to 100. But she does her job. Inferno Khawazu. When he's a good into a draft, he's a great force ban. Otherwise, I put this artifact on him just because mine's not the fastest. This usually gets me to where he needs to be. Yeah. Crescent Bologna, I like my Crescent Bologna a lot. I know there are tankier ones, but I like having her over 185 speed. Just to rotate those occasional stuns off her. She's won me a lot of games. Probably one of my favorite units in the game. Hands down. She's right up there with Sea Lilias and Abyssal Euphane for me. Martial Artist Ken. I don't have the gear to make a high ER Ken and still have him do decent damage, so I just decided to only take him into teams that don't debuff, and everyone knows that's super rare. And some people just assume he's high ER and force ban him anyway, but mine is not. And now with Ludica out, I don't know if he's still going to be meta, probably, but who knows. Mediator Kawerik, my somewhat damagey mediator Kawerik. He is super squishy, but he can still put out decent damage. Wish he was around 240 speed. But he's maybe not. He usually goes behind even the slower AOL, so maybe that's a boon. I don't know. I just had all this good crit HP gear. I was like, why not? Let's try it. I have won games that most people would exit out of just because I still had this guy able to take down squishies and sometimes even medium units. Yeah, he's got decent damage if he crits. Strays, I would like to have him faster, but he is a great tank buster option to have. He's got currently my only plus 30 Benimaru's Tachi. Urban Shadow Shoe, I have recently started trying her on Proof of Valor. I think that is definitely the way to go with her. I probably should have her 10 speed faster, but at one time I wanted her to have more damage, so I think I had a damage artifact on her. If I could get her to 250 speed, I think that would be... I know some people have her much faster, like 260, but I can't keep her damage and bulk decent while doing that. AU Fiend. I like my AU Fiend. I wish she had 100 more attack. Maybe a little more HP, but I definitely like having more than just the minimum defense required. Because she spends so much of her time in her first form, and then she usually doesn't have any trouble killing. I think ae-KARINA is the only thing she doesn't kill still with a S1 soul burn in her frenzied mode. Yeah, I wish she was more. 1750 attack I think would really be the sweet spot. Maybe when she gets triple S, maybe there's a way I can move some gear around and make that happen. Fallen Seaseria, haven't drafted her in forever. But saw Jenna use her with the ML Sharoon, so maybe she'll make a comeback at some point. Shadow Knight Phyllis, I wish I could break the 2600 defense mark, but this is pretty close. I wish I just had a little more ER on her as well, but it's crazy how one artifact can make this unit relevant again. She is good into so many drafts that she just demanded having me take this off one of my favorite units, ae-KARINA. Yep, definitely want 2 of these. Troublemaker Crozet, I don't use this guy much, but I know how powerful he is, so I keep one built, even if it probably needs to be built better than this. RB, another unit that I probably haven't touched their gear in forever. Still use them for farming, and occasionally I sneak him in for an anti-cleave. It doesn't happen too often, especially with all the CR manipulating heroes out, and yeah. Still, I don't know if I wish this guy was good or not anymore, but probably fine just having him be irrelevant anymore. Acid, another one of my 300 plus speed units. Really don't draft him that much. I probably should gear another opener, but every time I pick him, he's a force ban, so he must still be decent. I guess they just have to assume you have high-speed gear on him that will interrupt him, but yeah, I don't know. I can't bring myself to ungear him. I think this is a really well-built ACID. I know there's better, but I was proud of this when I got him above 300 speed and kept his damage decent still. Remnant Violet. He is missing my plus 30 Shepherd of the Hollow. I was not sure if I was going to put that on Spez or not. And this guy has won me a ton of Guild War defenses. I have him on one of my teams, and it just seems like this guy, I think he's faster than most, and I think that plus the Ruel Idol's Cheer, it surprises people. Definitely like my Rylet. Wish he was a little bulkier, but I don't know. Maybe if I do wind up using this on Spez, I might switch him to Double-Edged Crescent and see how that works. You know, if you have a high roll unit, might as well put the most high roll stuff on him. Briarwitch Seaseria. Did I go through? I think I went through his gear. Briarwitch Seaseria. I've decided just to make her a high damage unit. I don't mind the effectiveness on her, but she's not going to be debuffing anything other than, you know, non-Soul Weaver, non-tanks. But I think she's a decently built Briseria. She can carry when her Guiding Light procs, and you know, I'll get more imprints eventually, and she'll continue to. I mean, everyone knows the power of Briseria now. She's a great pick into so many units. Opsig. Don't ever pick her. So I don't know why I still have, 181 CP gear on her. Probably just lazy. Pirate Flan. I like my Flan a lot. She's got enough effectiveness to sometimes get the Soul Weavers, and she's got enough speed to take the first turn on the slower drafts, which I think is really where you only want to take her against the slower drafts. At least I've only ever taken her into those. She probably could be a little bulkier, especially on the defense, but I like having decent attack. I used to have her above 4,000, but she was super squishy. I think this is good. If I can find a way to get her another 150 defense, I will probably do it. But right now, she still kills stuff real fast, and she has high effectiveness. So one of my units I'm not worried about rebuilding. She's good. Stole some gear from Emilia. She used to have, I think, 300 more defense. But one of my few Unity-built heroes. And I hear she's really good with DDR, so maybe I should take her off the bench again and try her out. Caesaratu. Everyone's got one built. No one uses it. We need probably, I don't know, someone like him to deal with these debuff metas that are getting out of control. Eternal Wanderer Ludwig. I love cleaving in arena with him, but not RTA. I don't think I have the gear to be a cleaver. He probably needs to be at least 240 speed, and otherwise I think the damage is decent. I've definitely seen better ones, but this is in my opinion. Pretty high damage. He gets the job done if he gets to take the turn with enough souls. Never really had trouble killing stuff. Requiem Roana recently took off her Proof of Valor and put it on ML Shu, because honestly, who's really going to play a long game with Requiem Roana? I used to think that it was, her S3 stacks up like LRKs, but I've never really seen a game where she gets a second one off. I kind of wish she could be played in a slow draft, but just having this whole, take the character out in the front, and you basically get a 2-for-1 on the team, just makes her too much of a liability to take her into anything really other than cleave. I like Lifesteal Spec Tene. I know Spec Tene is not really in the meta right now. I think she'll always kind of have a place, but I know that most people were doing the speed pen set. I just always like the idea that if you can survive a burst, you can come back and heal up and become a high damage hyper carry. I think she needs probably 1,500 more health, but only so many stats to go around. Another one of my favorite characters that just can't really be played very easily. 270 speed is respectable, I think, but just too many things counter her. She's not fast enough to be an opener, and that's really what she needs to be. And her S2, S3 combo is just too easily interrupted these days. Zio, I would love to... I have a second Zio, and I think I heard Tristan Wolf talking about this the other night, building a Lifesteal Bruiser Zio that's slower. The only problem is... and put him on Time Matter or something. I've seen one of those before, and I thought it was one of the coolest things, but I think with getting the bulk stats that I would want on him and the damage would put him at like 190 speed without the speed set, and that's a little too slow even for a Bruiser Zio. I think he needs to probably be like 220, maybe 210, and that's even pushing it in my opinion. So future project probably. I know I like the idea of a aggressive Soul Weaver. She kind of fits that bill, but obviously she hasn't found her place in the meta yet. I like her with Spez, but I don't think that's enough to bring her back out of obscurity. Death Dealer Ray, I've seen 270 Death Dealer Rays before. I would like to get him to around 250. 240 is definitely better than what I used to have him at. I traded some, I think, defense and effectiveness for 10 more speed. Used to be at 230, and that was just way too slow. But I definitely like my bulk. People try to focus him down, and he does not go down easily. And I think 130 with his self-effectiveness buff is enough to even get the tanks and a lot of the Soul Weavers. So I'm not too worried about this build. I don't really have much to improve on this. I'm one of the few people that still likes Singelica. I use her all the time in Guild War offense and even sometimes in Arena. And I've even used her in RTA a few times. But I think she's largely been replaced by Seaseria. Seaseria, and we're getting into the my non-RTA units. I stole a lot of her gear for Kane in Rift. This one probably should be favorited. I'm not going to do it just because I don't want to have to find my place again, but she needs to have a lot more bulk and be a lot faster to do what I want to do with her, which is make her an anti-cleave kind of Zeo trap type thing. Kane, still Grace of Growth, still taking some of my better DPS PvE gear. I love the character design. I hate that he is a Rift only character. Yeah, I think really Smilegate missed the mark on this guy. He could have been number one husbando, but Kin, my first 5-star unit, that's why he's plus 15. Now that he's got his EE, I'm probably going to rebuild him at some point. But right now, you know, he's my Rift dude. He is number one Rift hero. Soul. We don't talk about Soul. Seaseria, Green Expedition. Gonna go fast through these PvE heroes. Ilynav, high again. Haste. Someone took your plus 30 candle. How dare they? Have him built just for Rift. Yep. Put in 6 Molagora into him that I never thought I would. Again, another hero I didn't think I would invest Molagora into, but I think I put in let's see. I guess I only put 3 into her after I got the plus 10 friendship. Bomb Model Kana, Green Expedition, good in Hall of Trials. Mercedes, probably one of the few people that doesn't have her built on counter set just because I don't care. Tenebria, Green Expedition. Carmen Rose, Light Expedition. Hazel Mascot, Hell Raid, and Rift. Tamarin, PvE Queen. Luna, wish your EE and buffs made you more relevant. I don't even have her at plus or at 100 crit chance. That I think I stole some gear for someone else that needed destruction, obviously. Cigarette, I opt for the one rotation, or I don't do one-shot Wyvern. I pick a 2-minute team that is more stable, but not one rotation worth of killing. Tarno Guard, Blue Expedition, Red Expedition, Brieg, just Expedition Master, thinking of putting more Mola into him. Right now I just have his Friendship Mola plus the cheap Mola. I'm honestly considering putting him to more of a plus 10, plus 12 type of Mola situation. He's just that good. Krau. Don't use Krau. Tywin, like the idea of him protecting a backline unit, but I think he's still pretty irrelevant. Alexa, never really used her. Love her skin though. Cerise, her gears come way down since she used to be relevant. Now she's just a light expo hero. I keep building Flan decently, and then stealing all our equipment. Usually for the advents, the RGB advents. Furious, just another Wyvern unit that is not heavily invested into. Seaside, I kind of de-geared her entirely for just Wyvern. No one really cares about her with ML Bologna out. Dizzy, used to use her all the time in PvE. Don't really ever geared. Azu, Black Hunt, Dark Hunt unit. Angelica, not geared. Mercenary Helga, used to use it for blue expedition. She's just carrying remnant gear now. Charles, we don't miss you. Chloe, use her on Dark Expedition. Would really like to build Mort, but every time I get close to making him somewhat decently geared, I just wind up stealing it for another bruiser. Biken, part of my my one-shot Banshee team. Still leveling up Ludica. She's almost at Friendship 10. Not sure I'm going to use her, but again, always good to have the option. Bologna. I don't think I'm using Bologna in anything now, which is crazy. Iceria, using her for light hunts and hell raids. Usually have her on that defense break artifact that eludes me. Bassar, never invested in. Vivian, part of my Banshee one-shot. Currently is holding my only time matter. So if I ever do build that Zeo bruiser, I'll have to steal that. Ray, used for hell raids. The Juvie Council, and usually run them with Doctor's Basket. But only got 2 of those right now. Camilla, great PvE unit. Use her for light hunt and great ancient inheritance. Really use her for a lot of stuff, including expeditions, or not expeditions, holotrials. G. Burgess, use him for my Wyvern team. Kind of crap gear. He's just built to take a lot of hits. Fighter Maya, had her built for a Advent story. I think she has some molas invested, but stole it all for, I think, ae-KARINA. Tempest Surin, got her right about the time she was becoming unmeta, or no longer meta. I know she's got a place somewhat now, but I just don't have lifesteal gear that doesn't have bulky stats on it. I don't have any. I have very few pieces that are just DPS lifesteal pieces, and it always winds up looking really bad, her stat line. So I haven't bothered to make her work yet. Although I think she is plus 15. Yeah. So what a waste. Blaze Dingo, one of my first 4-stars. Great PvE unit, and I think he's probably built for Ancient Inheritance right now. Doris, don't use her. Probably built for Ancient Inheritance. Bad Cat Armin, one of my more recent 4-star ML units. I think I used this character back when DDR was a focus unit, but since the rework, I don't really care about the gear that she has. I think she's just holding gear for the sake of holding it. Commander Lorena, Hell Raid, great PvE unit. Also use her in Light Hunt. Clarissa, use her in Holotrials. Everyone's got to have a Kitty Clarissa built. I used her a lot She was one of my first, probably first top 10, first 10 ML 4-stars, and I used her quite a bit. I love the whole bruiser lifesteal unit. But since her buffs happened, I haven't gone back to use her. She's plus 15, but I feel like I just don't have the gear to make her relevant anymore in my drafts. Used to have her built for Rylet when he was a terror. Obviously, there's a lot of Rylet counters out now, so she's not built. Challenger Dominial. I don't know why I have gear on her. Blood Moon Haste, you need a buff. Hua Young's recently been geared, but not fully invested in because I'm waiting to see what the consensus is on her. I've seen people say I love her. I've seen people say I hate her new buffs. I'm not even sure this is the right artifact to use on her anymore, but I feel like she needs to have at least 200 more attack, probably more like 400 or 500 to make her viable. But I'm going to let the experts tell me what to do with her before I invest the Mola back into her. Elfelt never really got into. Lethe I used for a... touch the mic. Lethe I used for Advent. Great PvE unit. Used to use them on, I think, Fire Expedition. Used them all the time in Abyss. He's a good PvE option to have. I think I stole some gear, which is why he's not at 100% crit right now. Veronica I had a lot of hope for, but I've recently stolen a lot of her, or not recently, I stole a lot of her gear a long time ago, and I don't really see her. Maybe when we get more vampire units she'll become relevant, but she never really found her footing in this RTA. Akates, I have two tomes, not tomes. Magaraha tomes that I just rotate between these three characters, and or four really. I guess I should build a third one because Momo uses them, and Tamarand, and when she's not in Rift, Hazel is on it as well, and then she uses it, so probably should just build a third one. Ning Ning, never used. I know this, at one point I was building her for a Wyvern one-shot, but at some point I don't need to go fast on Wyvern anymore, because now Leaves is my limiting reagent, not so much the time anymore. Riza, love this character in the anime. Haven't really used her in Epic 7. Mui, you are Ancient Inheritance only. Urbalin, no. 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 Might build her someday now that she's got some great PvE buffs, but right now, not in use. Tell you, no. No. I think that might be it. I probably should build Christy at some point. I've just been taking all my ER gear for other characters, and she is kind of left with scraps, but everyone should probably have this character built, so shame on me. Melissa, no. Rose, no. Have a Shadow Rose built for Banshee one-shot. I actually use 4 characters for my Banshee one-shot. Singelica, I have another one built for my Light Hunt team. Ball and Cezanne, I don't really have built, and I think that is probably it. I have somewhere down this line another Zeo that I'm planning on to yeah, do bruisery things with, but not yet. So that's my piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. All right. Probably getting to the end of this. Just a few more things I should show about my account. I usually hang around 200 to 300 gold, depending on how much I go crafting crazy. It's probably 124,000. I really don't craft as much as I used to. This thing used to honestly be closer to 300,000 about a year ago. That's probably the worst habit I have is I just let my stuff fill up, and then it's such a pain to actually go crafting equipment. Granted, this is the end of a hunt buff, which, oh my god. What am I doing? Get back in there. Ugh. Hour just wasted. Spending wise, I always buy the monthly packs. I'm sorry, the monthly pack. I do not buy the second one. Yeah, I get this guy every month, and I will probably once per hunt buff event, I will probably get the I forget what they call them, the leaf packs, the Blazing Passion pack or something. All three of them. Probably one out of the 2 hunt days. And then I think I've purchased a lot of the one-time packs. I haven't got this one yet, but I think most of the one-time account packs I've gotten. And sometimes I'll get this one usually in conjunction if we're having a 70 free summons event. But otherwise, I've never bought a Mystic pack. I think I've only purchased a Covenant, a monthly summon pack. I think at the very beginning when I didn't have a lot of resources. I usually use most of my Sky Stones for re-rolling the shop. I've recently done a Galaxy summon, so I try to hold all those for big summon sessions. Obviously getting low on leafs, decent on Covenant bookmarks. Well, I'm not placed right now, but I guess this is how far I usually get in arenas. I have, I think, gotten close to the edge of Emperor once. Like, I think I was in the 1800s. I guess it's really not that close, but usually I just don't have the time and probably not the experience to push into Emperor or the inclination. Yep, I've had experience running Ancient Inheritance before, usually based off of Tristan Wolf's videos. I've pretty much been in a fortress most of my time. These teams surprisingly get me a lot of wins. We've been playing some crazy hard teams lately, but that's the only reason I haven't changed them. I feel like this has a ton of counters, but I guess if you don't have DDR, maybe it's actually pretty annoying to go into. I don't know why I keep getting wins on these teams, but that's the only reason I haven't swapped them out. Yeah. Try to keep buffs going. I think, let's see here. No. What was I trying to do? Oh, I'm trying to show that I have logged in daily pretty regularly. Got stamps. Log in 1,500 days consecutively. I've got that going for my account. Usually get on every day, and even when there's something going on at work or I'm on vacation, I still try to do, Guild War, and even that's the few times I might not attack a fortress or a stronghold. But yeah, otherwise, let's see. Try to do all my weekly assistance. Let's see, my weekly assistance is currently 1,830. I think I have one of the higher assistances overall in the guild, so I feel like I'm doing my part for the guild. And I think that is it. That's my account after a little over 4 years of playing. Yep. If I leave anything off, I will probably try to splice it on later. Alright. Catch you later.